Hey there, it's Faith Talk Today. I'm Rick Probst. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. My next guest, I've talked to him many times and I love having him as a guest. Dr. Greg Smalley, Vice President of Marriage and Family Formation at Focus on the Family. Greg oversees initiatives that help prepare couples for marriage, strengthening existing marriages, and helping to restore those in crisis. He's the author of over 20 books. We're going to talk about one that he put out in 2020, 9 Lies That Will Destroy Your Marriage. Doc, how are you?
I am doing so good. Rick, it's great to be with you again. So thanks for having me.
Always good to have you. You're looking great. And we had talked about Erin in a little while. She's working hard at what she does there with the family. And someday soon we'll call her Dr. Erin
I
Smalley.
know.
We're looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. Well, let's talk.
She's doing great. So yes, thank you.
That's 9 Lies That Will Destroy Your Marriage. Where did you come up with 9? How did you come up with 9?
I think we started with like 7. And then the more we got into it, the more we kept talking and writing, we realized, no, we got to talk about this one separately, or no, this is one we missed. And so ultimately we came up with 9. And this is really from the work that we've done through a program we call Hope Restored. So this is our marriage intensive program. So couples in crisis, kind of like a marriage ER, come to us. And we've been doing this for over 20 years. We've had over 15,000 couples attend, and about 81% of those couples are still together. And so we really started going, what have we learned? What are some of the big challenges that these couples face when they come to an intensive? And that's really where we isolated. We think these 9 lies are part of the big strategies that they try to make work that never end up working.
Yeah, these are really great. And I think most of us have probably heard them or even said them or thought them. Do you think those thoughts has that come from cultures, social media, family history? Where's it come from?
Yes, literally all of that. So you've got our larger culture. For example, they'll preach, you see it every movie, every rom-com ever watched, made, has the statement, I just want you to be happy. And
Mm-hmm.
so we hear something like that and we're like, oh, okay. So we've got to figure out how to pursue happiness in our marriage. Or we see our Christian culture. We look at something like the unity candle, to where we take the individual candles, light the one big one, and blow the others out, to where it shows that it's not really about the individuals anymore. It's about the marriage relationship. So you've got messages culturally. We watch our parents.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the greatest places that we learn about some of these lies, is even watching our parents. We were just at a dinner party. This was so crazy. Erin and I still laugh about it. This big dinner party. And so as we were asking the host, can we help any, we go into the kitchen, can we help take stuff out, or what can we do? And I just noticed that when she would set a dish out on her counter, she would put this big, like bowl over the top of it. And Erin and I just were like, that's so fascinating. And so later on, we just asked her, we're like, that's really, yeah, we've just never seen that style of cooking. Where'd you see that, on a show or something? She says, no, when anytime I was with my grandmother, my mother, this is what they would do. And we're like, wow. So she calls her mother and says, yeah, why do we all do this? And the mom's like, wait, you do that too? And she goes, honey, you don't have cats. That was why her
Oh,
grandmother covered the dishes, because the cats would jump up there, and she didn't even own a cat. And so there you go. We just pick these things up and we do them based on what our parents did, not even sure why we do them. Some of it good, some of them lead to these lies that we're going to talk about.
well, let's talk about it. I'll go lie by lie, and you just talk about that particular
Yeah.
lie. Here's one that, as you mentioned, rom-coms and even the old fairy tales or books growing up, and they lived, number one, and they lived happily ever after.
Yeah. And because we hear that so much, that's so reinforced in our media, movies, culture. We just hear it all the time that we believe then that the goal for our marriage should be that the individuals are happy. I am not against happiness. I'm pro happy. So please don't hear me say that, oh, I'm against happiness. But that is a horrible goal. If I'm measuring the success of my marriage with Aaron based on if I'm feeling happy or not, what happens in those moments that I'm not happy? Aaron and I still get into conflict. Aaron and I still go through hard seasons. Stuff happens to us versus what I say is the better goal is growth. God, how are you growing me to become more like you? Instead of the litmus test for the success of our marriage being happiness, what if we make that, how are we growing together? How are we growing and then allowing God to use our marriage for something greater? So as the individuals, as we grow healthier, as we keep growing in our marriage, man, God wants to unleash our marriage into this world. And so happiness, great. If we have experienced happiness, awesome. But I would rather be thinking about how are we growing as individuals and how is our marriage growing and becoming stronger so that God can use us to bless another couple or to be a part of what he's doing out there. So that's why I love more the journey way of thinking about marriage, that Aaron and I are on this amazing journey together. In the destination, we live in Colorado, so I'm staring at these beautiful mountains right now. And so, we want to go, that's where we want to go in our marriage, to the top of that mountain. So let's just start climbing. Let's grow stronger. Let's become better climbing buddies. And let's see what God's going to do. And let's enjoy the ride as we climb this mountain together.
That's so good. Dr. Greg Smalley with us. We're dissecting 9 lies that will destroy your marriage. And no doubt you've heard these, maybe even believed them. Hey, I saw a couple there. I'm like, gosh, where did I get this thought? He was right on the money. All right, number 2, 1 + 1 = 1.
Yeah. Really what this is saying is that you think about, I referenced the unity candle earlier. And in our Christian culture, we often preach this idea that marriage is when we take the individual candles, one for Aaron, one for me, and then we light the big marriage candle. But what always happens, and this is the place where I want to stand up and object and say, stop the wedding. No, this is not right. It's when that couple then blows out the individual candles. So now all you have left is the marriage. And the problem is that within a marriage, there's 3 relationships that all have to matter and have to be well cared for. And that's the 2 individuals and then our relationship together. Like those all 3 have to matter. You will never create the marriage that you both are thrilled with if the individuals aren't well cared for and aren't healthy. And so the myth, the lie there is the priority now becomes the marriage. And I think what we do is that we take Genesis 2:24, that the man should leave his mother and father, cleave and become one. We've just taken that to mean, oh, well, oneness then is all it's about. But what's so interesting about that verse, it says, this is why a man leaves and then cleaves. In what the Hebrew word there is really referencing back to saying that what God is now saying is dependent upon what he's already done. Well, what did he already just do? He created a man and he created a woman, and now he has brought those 2 together in this relationship called oneness. So it's the priority never can just be on the health of the marriage. It has to also include equally the health of the 2 individuals. That's the truth.
Dr. Greg Smalley from Focus on the Family. We're talking about his book. It was out. He released it in 2020, but it is oh so good today. And we're going lie by lie. And you can get the book at focusonthefamily.com or wherever you get your Christian books. 9 lives that will destroy your marriage. All right. It was a band in the 60s and they sang All You Need Is Love, and then they broke up. Doc, what happened? That's the third one. All You Need Is Love.
Yeah, and that's probably why that they broke up. Because when we think about love, often we have this debate. Is love really about commitment? Love is a decision, or is love about the passion and in the chemistry that we experience? In what I always say is yes, the answer is yes. It is both a feeling and a commitment. But if that's all we ever focus on, what we miss in there is that God has clearly said that He is love. That it within our marriage, the key is to keep our hearts open and to recognize that our job is to get God's love in our hearts, that we open our hearts to Him so that He fills us. He's the one that sustains us. We often make the priority about the love that we experience. How do we rekindle the love? How do we, get more romance in these kinds of things, when really the truth is that God is love. And my job then is to learn, how do I keep my heart open to Him, allow Him to fill me, sustain me. I always tell people, I love my wife, Erin. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I always tell her, boy, I hope I die first, because I don't want to do this journey in life without you. But I want to make it very clear that I don't need my wife. I want my wife. I need God. He is my sustainer. And so really that lie is it that we begin to make sort of love the focus. And is it more chemistry? Is it more commitment? We lose sight of the biggest truth in there, is that God is love, and I need to keep my heart open to Him. He is my source. And as He fills my heart with love, I simply just open my heart then to Aaron, and I allow His love to flow through me. So again, a lot of these lies, what it does is it keeps us focused on things that never will sustain us. If all I do is think about my marriage and ignore the individuals, if all I ever do is think about our love and is our love working out, I miss the truth that God's love. And I just need to make sure that I'm so well plugged into Him that He sustains me. Seek first the kingdom of God, then these things will be added. So seek first, allow God to sustain us, then we can continue to work on our marriage relationship, as well as become healthy individuals also. But we can't miss I think one of the greatest truths, which is that a healthy marriage is 100% dependent upon my relationship with the Lord, and then our relationship together as a couple with the Lord.
So rich, really is. Dr. Greg Smalley from Focus on the Family. Greg serves as VP of Marriage and Family Formation, where he helps lead programs designed to strengthen marriages and restore hope to couples in crisis. And we were going through his book, 9 Lies That Will Destroy His Marriage. We covered 3. We covered, and they lived happily ever after. 1 + 1 = 1, and all you need is love. We're going to pick up the rest right now. Doc, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks again for having me back.
Absolutely. It's always a treat to have you, Aaron, talking about these things. And we really want the folks to get the book. But let's continue on. We started with 3. Let's go to number 4. And I must sacrifice who I am for the sake of the marriage.
Yeah, that sounds right. Within our Christian culture, God talks about sacrifice. I mean, that is probably one of the most important gifts to understand, is God sacrificed His Son for us. We hear, 1 John 3:16, this is how we know what love is. So it's defining what love is. Jesus laid down His life, so should we, for our brothers, for our spouse. So the concept in the principle of sacrifice is one of the most important things that we can do. Rick, here's the problem. Oftentimes what we find is that people keep sacrificing without ever learning how to go to the well, the source, to get refilled, to recharge, to get more. We can't give what we don't have. That's one of the biggest things that we see within our Christian cultures, we have a lot of people who just do and do and do and sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice to where they're worn out and empty and have nothing to give. And then we start resenting our spouse. Now you want more. Now I'm supposed to do this for you, sacrifice for you. And the problem isn't sacrifice. The problem is that we've failed to understand how to return back and make sure that we're recharged, that we're filled back up with God's love. And so that's the truth, is that God wants us so abundantly full of his love that we can just keep giving out and giving out and giving out, going back, making sure that we're filled back up so that we can give out, that we have to make sure that we're doing the job of taking good care of ourselves, plugged into the Lord, so that we actually have something to give. So sacrifice minus good caring for oneself, meaning I'm plugged into the Lord and getting full of his love. So sacrifice without that is impossible. It just leads to hurt, frustration, and exhaustion.
If you're listening, which you are, and watching, Dr. Greg Smalley with us from Focus on the Family, we're going lie by lie in his book, 9 Lies That Will Destroy Your Marriage. We are on number 5, I believe. It's number 6, actually. Actually number 5, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Number 5. And if you'd like to pick up the other ones, you can listen to last week's show or watch it. Doc, let's go with number 5. You must meet each other's needs.
Yeah, again, sounds right. We're taught that. We use that word need. And what I would argue is that most of what we describe as a need within a relationship is not a need. A need is something that without it, my very well-being is at stake. So when I say something like, hey, I need sex in my marriage, I need my wife to make me feel affirmed, so that whatever we often say that I need, and then fill in the blank, I would argue is not a need. I've never met a single person, I've never heard a story where someone died because they didn't have sex within their marriage. So all I'm saying is that, how about instead of using the word need, we look at it as strong desires. Like, I have lots of things that I want within my marriage. I have lots of desires that I hope, if my wife is willing, that she does. But to call them needs then implies that my wife has to then provide that. That's the lie. I like I said it before, I need God. I don't need my wife. I want my wife. These desires that I have, I want to put them out there. It is like a Gary Chapman describes it as a love language. These are things that helps me to feel loved, but I don't need my wife to do those. I, one, need to learn how to plug into the Lord. I need to learn how am I helping to meet those strong desires in my life? And how am I inviting my wife to come alongside by saying to her, hey, Aaron, when you affirm me, when you take a moment to thank me for something that I've done, man, that I feel so loved in those moments. But see, that's not a demand. Yeah. That's a request. That's helping her to understand, because she wants to know, Greg, how can I better love you? Well, instead of saying, well, I need this and I need that, if we make sure that the verbiage is better, and by saying, you know what, man, I love it when you do this. This is a strong need or desire, or a strong desire or want. And if you choose to do that, great, awesome. Because we want to help each other. I want to support my wife, helping her to feel loved. But do you see how that changes the dynamic? Instead of now, you need to do this for me because it's a need, it makes us honestly less needy as individuals, and no one wants to be in relationship with needy people.
Right. Dr. Greg Smalley with us and Focus on the Family. We're going through his book, 9 Lies That Will Destroy Your Marriage, and we are now on number 6. Our difference, I've heard this, and I'm sorry, is my wife around? Even thought this over the years at times. Our differences are irreconcilable.
Yeah. The myth there, the lie there is that God created our differences. The differences between my wife and I are God created, and he doesn't make mistakes. That's the beautiful part of our marriage, is that we're different. Does it irritate the life out of me at times? 100%. The lie, though, is that those differences are irreconcilable. The truth is, it's a matter of learning how to manage our differences. When for example, Erin is extroverted. I'm introverted. She loves people. I hate people. So over the last 2 nights within our marriage, we've had people over. And I get that she loves that, but it drives me nuts. Last night, I found myself looking at my watch going, when is this going to end? And these people going to leave? I just want to chill out and not talk. So definitely that difference between us will create conflict. So, but the difference is always a beautiful thing. It's how we manage those differences. That's where we get to learn. And we get to learn how to navigate and negotiate. And I told her, I said, hey, tonight, could we not have anybody over? And she was like, really? Because I love that. And I'm like, well, I know you do, but it would be, I need to unwind because we travel starting on Thursday. And so it's just learning, hey, instead of seeing them as a problem, that's the lie. The truth is, how do we learn how to manage them in ways that feel good to both of us?
So good. Number 7, I'm gonna make you love me. That's a Bonnie Raitt song, by the way.
Yeah, in really, this is about this idea that it's taking Gary Chapman's idea of love languages, and so many of us misapply that by then going, the most important thing that we can do and to learn are these love languages. Like when Erin and I felt really disconnected during the season of our marriage, man, I dug in to go, what do I need to do to restore the intimacy and the connection? And people would always say, well, learn her love language, take her out on a date. You just need to talk to her, get a hobby, start playing pickleball. I'm convinced that has destroyed more marriages than anything else out there. But all that to say that the things, the date nights, the love language, that will never create the kind of intimacy that Erin and I long for. Intimacy is defined by intimacy. It's when you feel fully seen and fully known. And those activities won't get you there. What gets you there is to recognize if my wife is going to open her heart and let me see who she really is, all the good, the bad, and the ugly, she needs to feel safe with me. That when I get to see her, who she really is, when I get access to her heart, that I'm going to be a safe person, that I'm going to accept her and love her in spite of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so safety is the truth. Creating a marriage that feels like the safest place on earth is more important than the activities that were designed to draw us together. Because if you don't feel safe, you're never going to want to do those activities. When we feel safe with each other, then those activities are the cherry on top.
Dr. Greg Smalley from Focus on the Family. We're going lie by lie and 9 lies that will destroy your marriage. Couple of minutes left, Doc. It just goes so fast with you. Let's go to number 8. Here we go. Your love is driving me crazy.
And again, this one is so about learning the value of emotions. And somehow we have put emotions into this category that they're bad, that they're evil, that we shouldn't pay attention to them. We can't let them drive our life. Well, I agree. Emotions shouldn't drive us. The truth is that God created emotions. These are a great thing. And I used to be so uncomfortable with my wife's emotions that I would tell her, hey, you just need to relax. You need to calm down. You don't say that ever. Because I felt so uncomfortable with her emotions that I wanted just to either fix the problem or to get her laughing so that she wouldn't be having whatever emotions she was experiencing. And the truth is that learning how to embrace emotions and do what Jesus did, The shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. Why was he weeping? His good buddy Lazarus had died. Jesus already knew how he was going to solve that problem. But what did he model for us? He found that family, and instead of shutting all that down and telling them, you need to relax and calm down, stop grieving, quit crying, I'm about to solve this in the coolest way and raise him from the dead. What did he do? He just wept. He leaned in.
Yeah.
Empathy is
Wow.
one of the greatest gifts we can ever give
So
our
good.
spouse.
Wow, I love that. I've never heard that before, and that described that way. So good. Dr. Greg Smalley, here's lie number 9. Are you ready? Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, this is really about using the word that I hate called compromise. And so many people use this word in a marriage when we can't make a decision or we're struggling through a decision. Let's just compromise. The problem is that when we compromise, depending on for the person how far down they've compromised, it ends up feeling like a loss for them. The truth in a marriage is that we're on the same team. We will either win together or we will lose together. So therefore, instead of making decisions to where either you win or I win or we compromise, what if we commit to finding a solution that both of us feel great about because we're on the same team? So this idea of a teamwork, making sure that we honor and value our teamwork together, making decisions that both of us feel good about, that's the truth. That's the antidote to, well, let's just, sometimes you'll win, sometimes I'll win, or we'll compromise. That never works. Someone always feels as though they're losing, and thus the marriage loses, unless we approach this from a mindset of we both matter. And let's figure out how to solve this in a way that feels good to both of us.
Dr. Greg Smalley from Focus on the Family. We went through them 9 lies that will destroy your marriage. We just scratched
impressive.
the surface. Yeah, you got to get the book, though, because, hey, this is not a one-time read and I got it. It is really, really good, deep, and practical stuff, really. Doc, we appreciate you so much. Always a great time with you. Thank you. Be safe traveling. We'll hopefully see you again when you get back, and we'll talk more about what's coming up for you guys. Again, that's Dr. Greg Smalley's book, 9 Lies That Will Destroy Your Marriage. Next week, another great conversation with another great guest. Join me for that. Have a good week. I'm Rick Probst. See ya.